Thank you very much. Thank you very much, comrades. Right. Thank you very much for Markسیستی Bible to invite us to the meeting, and I appreciate being amongst your comrades tonight. It's a special day after 1st of May, and basically I'll be talking about the Iranian situation, obviously, as we are in Iran, and relationship between what is going on in Iran and the international solidarity, and even further than that, to see what sort of perspective we can have in order to continue this international solidarity in the world scale, in the light of the crisis of imperialism and crisis of capitalism, and millions of workers, students being out of the streets, in the streets, and fighting against capitalism at this stage. Now, on the 1st of May in Iran, first of all, 1st of May was banned, completely banned, and that is not a new thing in Iran. It's been going on for the last 5 years. The last 1st of May we celebrated was about 5 years ago, and that was a few hundred militant workers were gathered in the park. They were all arrested and put in jail, and some of them had to leave the country and are in exile now. So this is the situation we are facing at the moment in Iran. Not only it was banned, but they actually prepared to arrest any small gatherings. For example, some workers came to the street in Tehran and they distributed just, some sweets and things in the streets, and they were all arrested. And some of the leaders of a campaign who has been gathering signatures in relation to bettering the working class condition were 2 days before the 1st of May were arrested, put in jail, and they were asked to be given some sort of assurance that it's not going to be any demonstration or any sort of May Day gathering. And also there was a private meeting in Karaj near Tehran, and some of the syndicalists were gathering in order with their families to celebrate the 1st of May. They discovered that, they arrested everybody in there. So therefore total attack on the working class celebration in 1st of May took place. However, the question is raised here, why the Iranian regime, who actually announces and claims that they have defeated the working class, are so much scared of the working class in Iran. And that is one question that we have to relate to in the present situation. The answer for that is this: the Iranian working class has defeated one of the major allies of imperialism 34 years ago. And that defeat was the sort of part of the organization of the working class in Iran, and also for the first time after the Russian Revolution in 1917, we witnessed the creation of the Soviets and Soviet lights committees within the working class in Iran, and that was due to the activities and the demonstrations and the strikes, general strike, in particular the oil workers in Iran, that made the closest allies to American imperialism topple. And that is Shah of Iran, which was very similar to what Israeli government is at the moment. Even Shah was more closer to imperialism than the Israeli government now. So therefore, that is what experience the working class of Iran come through. And they have not forgotten these memories of the struggle bringing a largest capitalist system in the region. And that is something that's not forgotten, and they have proved it in practice for the last 36 years, that in spite of repressions, in spite of imprisonment, in spite of the executions, they have continued for the last 35 years, with the exception of few years that it was a war between Iraq and Iran. They have continued their struggle. The clandestine committees have been formed in Iran, and they have actually tried to continue the struggle, and the struggle has been ongoing. At the moment, in fact, the major leaders of the workers, the communist workers, are in prison. One of them is Shah of Iran that we are defending now. And very strangely enough, I just received a photo from prison. And in fact, the only celebration of 1st of May took place in the Gohardash prison. And Shah of Iran, who has lost a lot of weight here now because he's been on a hunger strike for 50 years, in fact, is reading the statement of the 1st of May in Gohardash prison. That is what has happened today, and they received this photo today. So all that shows that the struggle continues, and the situation, in spite of repression, is explosive. And because of explosiveness of the situation, such a mighty government of Iran are scared of even 5 workers getting together in one street and distributing sweets. They're not concerned about these committees because the committees are not revolutionary committees. They're doing, public and open work, and they know exactly what they're doing. And in fact, some of them are related to the reformist tendency of the government. But they are, in fact, scared of the impact of these demonstrations and these celebrations that may follow in Iran, and also it will follow in a very large scale because of the experience, past experience, and because of the continuity of the struggle in Iran. So that is what the situation is at the moment. So therefore, in these periods that we are seeing the repressive regime in Iran, and also in this period that we see the continuation of the struggles in Iran, it is a period that definitely the Iranian working class needs the solidarity. And that is not just a sort of request. It is, in fact, the duty of the international movement, international trade unionists, international revolutionaries to defend the Iranian working class, and somebody like Shah of Iran. Because Shah of Iran is not being defended by other tendencies, as the comrade from Iran mentioned. There are liberals and various sort of social democrats that are raising money and all sorts of things, publicity in their newspapers, television stations, which are hundreds of them, broadcasting from America and so on, and the scene in Iran, but they don't mention any name of him. And also the reason that the regime itself is not relating and is not trying to suppress the idea of publicity for Shah of Iran is this, that because if he comes out of prison, the relationship of forces between the left sort of tendency of the working class and the communists of the working class will change rapidly. And the victory of Shah of Iran, is being released from jail, will change the relationship of forces. And this is as simple as that, because of the explosiveness of the situation in Iran. So therefore, it is crucially important that we defend this one person as symbolic. There are many other political prisoners and also left-wing and communists in Iran, but he's been resisting, as you can see. He's actually fighting from the jail, in fact. He's announcing and he's actually telephoning from jail. They have found out some other ways by giving some money to these prisoners, and they can, by cell phone, they phone an interview with other radio stations that contact them. So therefore, the struggle from that point of view, his struggle is continuing, and his release will change this relationship of forces. So from that point of view, for us internationally is really a duty to do that, and this relationship of forces will change, and that the situation actually will expand in Iran. And also from another point of view, it is important that we defend especially the workers who have actually toppled a reactionary regime in the region, and they have got the experience of that. They have got the experience of mass general strike, and they have got the experience of creation of the Soviet type structures in a particular country. It is important for us here because this is, in fact, a way of expanding a revolution. In fact, the quickest way, if you like, to reach And to come to a revolution in Britain is to create a revolution and help the revolution in Iran. Because if the revolution in Iran happens, and we're going to see it, it's very clear. I mean, if the workers are struggling as much, in spite of repression, in spite of not having, any sort of means of communication and very limited sort of means of doing anything. So therefore, if that sort of thing happens, it's going to be an earthquake, exactly like the Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution, we noticed that as soon as the Russian Revolution was victorious, all over the world, millions of the workers came to the street, and there was a massive strikes all over the world. So this is the sort of thing we have to be looking at international level. So therefore, we concentrate on a country that there is the potentiality of a victorious revolution that will help even the revolution in Britain afterwards. It will help the revolution in France and in Germany. So this is an international relationship. When we are talking about international relationship, it's not just just solidarity messages. It is a political issue. It's an issue that we can actually enhance a revolutionary situation in the world scale. So therefore, this is what the situation we are in at the moment. However, in order to implement this solidarity in the international level, we cannot really, with due respect to the comrades who come 1st of May in the gathering and they give messages and they go away, we cannot do it in an atomized way. We have to have a permanent structure, the permanent structure that we see each other regularly. And we plan things regularly, not only about England, not about Iran. And sorry, so 10 minutes ago you wrote that 5 minutes? you have to poke me. So this permanent structure is important from 2 points of view. One is this: we organize our affairs on a regular basis. Every day for us is 1st of May. That is how we have to look at it. 1st of May is every day for us. Every day we have to have this sort of gathering, and even more. Let's get thousands of people in this sort of meetings. We organize our activities in the international level. Second thing, which is important, is this: we have political discussions amongst us that we have to do. We have to discuss, for example, the idea of imperialism. What's going on in imperialism? What's going on at the moment? What has been the development of imperialism? In order to fight against imperialism, we have to theoretically, in fact, develop our ideas as well. Otherwise, what will happen is this: that one of the largest Trotskyist organizations in Britain, like SWP, sides with a reactionary regime of Iran. This is a theoretical crisis we are in. I mean, this is not Marxism. If from one side they just follow some reaction regimes, and in here in the streets they join united front with Hezbollah, the most reactionary elements. So what's going on with this Marxists? So we have to discuss this amongst ourselves in order to have proper discussion on the fundamental issues. On the question of party, Leninist party, what do we understand? People are going and creating political parties. So what's going on? What is the structure of these parties? What is the program of people? Have you got these programs in order to build a party? Why some comrades go and make a party in the name of the working class without having any influence, even without having one worker as their members? Some intellectuals get together and create a party, and they call it Communist Party of Iran, Communist Party Workers, Communist Party of Iran. So this is the sort of thing we have to discuss. And this we have to do jointly. At the same time, we do the activities at the same time. So for this structure, we have a proposal. And we ask all the comrades from Argentina, from Kurdistan, Iraq, Iran, any comrades to come to this project. And our project is Marxist Revival. There's 4 small general criteria. Comrades agree, let's do it jointly. Let's actually prepare for an international organization. It is not an international organization. This is just a project to give us an umbrella under which we can debate regularly and we can contribute regularly to any parts of the world that there is an unfolding revolutionary situation, and also prepare ourselves for an international organization that Comintern, international, that Lenin, Trotsky, and many other revolutionaries were at the leadership, and they actually were preparing, staging a socialist revolution in the world scale. And this is the time now, I think we have to prepare ourselves. Oh, thank you. I got it. That for that sort of project, and we invite all the comrades, in fact, to look into seriously. We have a magazine there. Comrades can see our aims and join us. We do things together and make every day a May Day. Thank you very much.
That's going to go to